I'm not fighting no more. Kelly, let me do my job. I just told you I didn't want to do no interviews, and you said you are going to do interviews. Now you told me to do interviews. Now you're trying to take me away from them. No. Let me show Dante's Boxing Nation some love.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So if you guys recall, a couple days ago, I did a video reporting that Team Crawford offered Danny Garcia $3 million to fight in March, and they never ended up getting a response from Team Garcia. As you guys see on the screen right here, this is what Terrence Crawford's trainer, Bo Mack, this is what he put up on one of his social media pages, proving that they did offer Danny Garcia a fight. Now we fast forward to present day, and Terrence Crawford's people, they still haven't heard anything from Danny Garcia. We did hear from Terrence Crawford today. He had something else to say about that offer to Danny Garcia and other PBC fighters as well. Matter of fact, let me get into what Terrence Crawford said today. Look, F all this stupid-ish. Y'all talking about if the PBC fighters is their own bosses like y'all say they is, then why they gotta ask Al if they can come outside? Last time I checked, Angel is a big part of Danny's team and do have a say-so who he fight. But I think y'all too blind to see it. Danny ducked me. They know what it was. They problem told, and I think he meant they probably told Al, and he told them no. But it's all good. We not tripping, y'all. Keep thinking what y'all want when y'all don't know nothing. Now, before I get into what Terrence Crawford just said about this mainly being Al Haymon's fault or partially being Al Haymon's fault, I want to go back to the $3 million offer, because the last video that I did, once again, you had all these fans that were trying their best to defend Danny Garcia not taking the offer. The funny thing is, the majority of fans, they start coming up with excuses, of course, that Danny himself wasn't even using. This is what loyal fans often do. They start making up their own excuses why the fight is not happening. And they were all saying, oh man, they're trying to lowball Danny. That's why he didn't take the fight. $3 million is nothing. He needs more money. I have people saying that this is prize fighting, not pride fighting, etc., etc., etc. It's crazy how fans will go out on a limb to defend a fighter, and they don't even do their research before they start defending these fighters. Because if you did your research, what you guys will find out is in Danny Garcia's very last fight, which was a title fight against Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, he made $1.2 million in that fight. Garcia fought against Keith Thurman. He made $2 million in that fight. Both fighters made $2 million in that fight. So now, Danny Garcia is getting another shot at the title and a $3 million offer? That lowball excuse, it goes out the window. So with that being said, once again, Terrence Crawford, he believes that this has a lot to do with Al Haymon not allowing these PBC fighters to get in the ring with him. The situation is very similar to Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Everyone knows that Anthony Joshua, or it's Team Joshua, that doesn't want to fight Deontay Wilder right now. But the question is, who's to blame? Is it Anthony Joshua's fault, or is it Eddie Hearn's fault? When it comes to Danny Garcia, is it Danny Garcia's fault, or is it Al Haymon's fault? Now, when it comes to Anthony Joshua, I've already broke that down on numerous videos in the past, and I told you guys, I truly believe it is nobody but Anthony Joshua's fault. So there's no doubt about it. It is very obvious that right now, Danny Garcia, he wants no part of Terrence Crawford right now. We can all agree on that. Once again, the only question is, who is to blame? Now, once again, guys, we hear this all the time. Whenever a fighter doesn't want to fight someone in particular, people always automatically assume it must be the promoter. It can't be the fighter's fault. It must be the promoter's fault. Now, in some cases, it could be the promoter's fault, but I'm just going to say this when it comes to PBC fighters. The interesting thing is, we know when it comes to Errol Spence, there were a lot of fighters that were also with PBC that did not want to fight Errol Spence. But at the same time, you had a lot of PBC fighters that were calling out Top Ranks fighter, at the time at least, Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman was one of them. But then when it came to Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, he said that Terrence hasn't really done anything at the welterweight division yet. So far we know that Danny Garcia was offered $3 million and he hasn't responded to the offer yet. We know that Keith Thurman, he basically said Terrence Crawford hasn't done enough. We know Errol Spence just recently told Terrence Crawford that he would rather fight Sean Porter first and get that easy knockout. Now, with everything that these PBC fighters said about fighting against Terrence Crawford, you guys will notice one thing none of them said is, well, it's up to my advisor. It's up to my promoter. It's really not up to me. Even though he has a belt that Keith Thurman could take if Keith Thurman was dreaming to be an undisputed, unified champion. But when it comes to Danny Garcia in particular, we know that there have been times where Danny Garcia went a long time facing weak opposition. Don't get me wrong, every once in a while, he'll fight against a top-notch guy. But those gaps in between him fighting against top-level opposition are usually long gaps. And clearly this puts a lot of pressure on Danny Garcia to take a Terrence Crawford fight, because when Danny Garcia lost to Sean Porter, him and his dad were extremely emotional, which is understandable. But the fact that Angel Garcia, he was talking about retiring from the sport, I think that really affected Team Garcia, knowing that they now have 2 losses on their record. And they know that if they get in there with Terrence Crawford, that could possibly be the 3rd loss. And they may not be able to recover from a 3rd loss. Once again, especially with Angel already threatening to retire after the last loss. So we'll see what happens, guys. Once again, click on that DAZN link, the Dante's Boxing Nation DAZN link in my description box if you want to watch Canelo versus Rocky Fielding for free. Because that fight should be for free. No one should have to pay for it. And if you click on that link, you won't pay for it. And you'll get 30 days of DAZN boxing matches. So go ahead and click on that link. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
DAZN! Over 100 fight nights a year without the pain of pay-per-view. Sign up now for free!
Is it really free?
Sí.
That can't be right.
Sí.
Okay, pay-per-view is totally screwed.
Sí.
Feels like a misprint, but I'm being told that it is correct. From Canelo Alvarez!
Sí, es gratis.
Sign up today to get all the action for free!